Right, hi guys. Apologies for the voice. I sound like a frog. Had a bit of a cold over the weekend, so I'm a bit squeaky. Anyway, I'll do my best. So, the other day I went over to Beachy Head to try and capture sunset. As you can see, there was a load of traffic, so it sort of slowed me down quite a bit. Eventually, I got out to the countryside. Love it over there. Love it over there. Lovely and quiet, and open roads, no traffic on it, which is great. Anyway, so got over there, and it was quite a bit windy. It was a bit windier than I imagined, which was good for the waves. So the tide was in, or coming in even more, and I walked to the Berlin Gap in East Sussex, which is just a bit down the road from Beachy Head, and I walked to the steps, just had a quick look, and thought, right, brilliant. Noticed there was a few surfers out, which was even better because it gives you something to shoot with. I had the Sony Rx10 Mark IV with me and the Sony A7R3. Sony A7R3, I only had the 35mm Samyang f1.4 lens on, and I wasn't going to change it because it's so windy due to the possibility of dust and spray and stuff. There's quite a lot of spray in the air. As you can see there, filming with my my video glasses, the pivot head Durangos. Quite a good swell going on and a bit of waves, so wandered down to the beach pretty quickly. And I walked past this gentleman with the camera here on the right hand side. He's got a tripod, he's taking pictures. I'll come back to him later. As you can see, sun was going down, just about made it to get the sun, and a surfer there. The actual sunset itself was pretty terrible. There was no big orange red sun or anything like that, which is a bit of a shame, but I messed around with the slow motion function on the Rx10. It never disappoints, and especially things like moving water, surfers, animals and things like that, it's always going to be good. So the first shot here was just the waves crashing in, and as you'll see in a second, it still works pretty well. Having it in the manual mode for the slow motion makes a massive difference because you can set your depth of field. 500 frames per second slow motion. So the surfer coming here just decided to give up and just fell into the water. But that's slowed down around about 10-15 times, something like that. As you can see, it takes quite a while to fall down, even though the actual real time happened in about a second or so. But great splashes there. The light was brilliant because it was just coming so low and across the waves and stuff like that. Shadows, long shadows, and also good silhouettes. Here's a surfer attempted to go in, which was quite fun. The waves were big. They were struggling a little bit to stay out there really, but that's quite cool. The only downside is obviously once you've pushed your record button, it's there buffering and saving to the card, so you can't do anything until that's done. And unfortunately, where this stops is where something really cool happened. The wave crashed into him and it went everywhere, and then he was out, but I missed that unfortunately. This one here is quite cool. So shooting straight into the sun here, that's why it's so sort of yellow and golden. You can see the surfer there still, you know, catching the wave as such. I'm just about to get splashed by it, but still really impressed on how it deals with everything. Yes, the noise is apparent in some of the video and some of the photos due to the low light. I mean, you can see here that he's actually shaded by the sun so low that wave behind him is actually shadowing the surfer there. So I mean, it's almost ready to go down below horizon. You can see just a little bit of sun coming across the top of that wave. But it still worked really well. Really pleased on how the camera performed. Like I say, sorry about my voice. But as you can see, 500 frames per second, and this one was actually the full 7-second duration of its recording ability. And this one here is 1,000 frames per second. You just see how slow the waves are pouring in, and that's when the sun got about as good as it was going to get, and then unfortunately it disappeared into the lower section of the clouds in the sky, which kind of hid it then, which was a real shame. and recently we've had some really good ones, especially on that coast. It's a very good place if you're down in East Sussex or South of England. Some of the coast shots up here are brilliant. This shot here, I can see I've got spray on my lens because the bokeh's actually showing up on the lens there. You can see it, and but that was quite cool with the waves popping up in front of the sun. Like I say, I only really had a few minutes to sort of make the most of this, and then it did that. So we kind of lost the sort of sunshine as such, a little bit of colour, but that's as much as it got. This guy here was using he'd obviously stashed that piece of wood, and I don't know what he got, but he got soaked. He wasn't expecting one wave to get hit. These people stood at the edge of the cliff, you know, they may fall off, you never know. This guy here, total wipeout. These shots here are actually shot at dusk, so the sun's now gone, and I'm still really impressed by the RX10. Shooting at ISO 600 I think, or 6 or 800. This shot here, but a moving motion blur. I have enhanced it with a little bit of Photoshop help, but it was still a little bit of movement. It just needed a little bit more to look good. This is a shot previously, and another shot here before the sun had gone down, not in any particular order. But still the RX10 Mark IV at the moment. Just really so usable. It's really good for just getting the shots you want. Same as here, spray all over my lens. Completely forgot to look at it. And to be honest, my lens cloth had got soaked because I'd used it a few times anyway, so I gave up trying to clean it. This guy here going back into the waves, into the sea to go and do some more surfing, and that guy's gone back out again. This shot here, I can say there's a mixture of shots, they're not in particular any order. So proper golden hour this section before the light went, and this one here you can see really low again, shadows on the water and a little bit of sunshine. But all at 600mm f4, as you can see there, really sharp. Even at the light was going, it's still performing really well. No focus issues whatsoever, even though I had spray on the lens in a few points, because the wind was blowing onshore, so spray everywhere. All the other photographers were obviously having fun with that as well. But object tracking, AF just followed the guy in, which was working really well. Even face detect picked up a couple of times when I was doing these shots here. So, and then there's loads of people on the beach. Sorry, I can't speak. Loads of people on the beach. This couple here, they were messing about before that hit. So got a couple of cool shots of them running around, trying not to get hit by waves. This is the Sony A7R III now, by the way. So this is the Samyang 35mm f1.4. Shot at a different ranges of f-stop and ISO. But as the light was going, obviously I'll turn the ISO up a little bit. Completely different kinds of cameras. A7R III quality is insane. You can see straight away the difference in image quality from the full frame sensor and obviously the faster lens. And then on the way home I took this shot. I saw on the way through Eastbourne sort of town centre seafront this shot here, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to mess around a little bit. So that shot there I quite like. Shot at f1.4 on the Samyang 35mm AF lens. Really good. Really pleased with how good that lens is, especially when it's under £1,000. No issues whatsoever. This shot here as well, stood in the middle of the road. Shot at ISO, I think it was 400, but I was still getting 1/60th of a second, even at f1.4. So even though it was dark, there was enough light there that was actually giving me a shutter speed that was to stop the traffic, stop the people. The same here. You can see the two people stood there. They're actually walking. They're the older generation, but they're still moving. As you can see, there was a little bit misty, so the mist was rolling in, hence the light glare from the street light there. But worked really well. And the shot I really like, and I'm glad I took it before we left the Berlin Gap. There's one of the very few telephone boxes left, and that is there, so people can phone Samaritans and things like that if they need to, before they make a bad decision. So that's the moon, and it's completely dark behind there, and our eyesight, we could not see more than the moon and the telephone box and the house there and the post box. In the background was completely dark, so it just shows you how the the dynamic range of the A7R3 is that good. It's one shot. I've just tweaked it. Obviously, got the exposure about as close as I could. Made sure the telephone box and everything was correct, and it worked really well. So really pleased with that. Anyway, guys, so please subscribe, please click the notification bell, and I'll see you soon.